Hello, good morning. Happy Sunday. This is March 28th. It's a gloomy day today. Welcome to Sports Talk Live with Frankie Olivo. Good to be back on this beautiful day. A lot has transpired this week. There have been lots of events that have taken place throughout the city of Brownsville, throughout the valley. We've had powerlifting, soccer, softball, baseball, UIL activities that many of our student athletes have taken part of. So it's a great way for us to use this channel to encourage, motivate, and more than anything, showcase the talents that we have at BISD. So, good morning, Joe. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Nice to see you again, guys. Like always, we're trying to grow our page. I have posted on YouTube and on our two Facebook pages um, the link for the Sports Talk Show. We currently have 70 subscribers. I'm trying to build up the numbers to try and get as much exposure for our student athletes as much as possible. That way we can talk about the great students and their talents. So we can talk about their talents as much as possible. So again, if you could do me the big favor, uh, click on the link, subscribe, like as much as possible. Help me spread the word. Share the page as much as possible. Thank you so much. Again, a lot has transpired in throughout this week. We've had great amount of action for the city of Brownsville. Here we have an amazing young lady who from Lopez who just placed for state. She placed first in the girls powerlifting championship that was held in Corpus Christi. An amazing feat that was accomplished. She squatted 455. She bench pressed 255. And get this, she set a state record in deadlifts of 430 pounds. So congratulations, Marlene Salazar, uh, on winning state. It's hard enough that we went through a pandemic, but all this shows is your dedication and training throughout this pandemic. So congratulations, young lady. You have a lot to be proud for. Your family, your friends at Lopez, and most importantly here at Sports Talk. So congratulations again. Pace, the Pace powerlifting team. They ranked fifth in the state in 5A for the state of Texas. So congratulations to all these ladies that are doing an amazing job in athletes, putting Brownsville on the map. So congratulations to Miss Marlene Salazar and to the Lady Pace powerlifting team for all their great accomplishments. Juan Tapia, my cousin, fighting in Las Vegas, May 22nd, MGM Grand. Wow, that's awesome. I know, Doctor, I know Figueroa, El Relámpago, Omar Figueroa, will be fighting very soon also. Again, Juan Blaze Tapia, and El Relámpago putting Brownsville on the map. So that's amazing. I know your father, Mr. Hernandez, did reach out to me regarding Juan Tapia's last fight for an interview, but I think it was short timing. So we have a lot of time from here to May. Maybe you can help me out, Mr. Dr. Eder Hernandez, in setting up a possible interview with Blaze Tapia. It would be great for our community to get to know a little bit about him, rally around him, and more than anything, wish him well on his upcoming fight at the MGM. It's a great accomplishment to be putting our local talent on the main stage, and again, putting Brownsville on the map. You're right, Doctor. Thank you for that. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your help. NFL expanding season, Cowboys 8-9. No. You got that wrong. If it's going to 17 games, we're going to 15-1. 15-1 with 1 week being the bye week. Oh man, puro Cowboys. Let's get back to where we were. I do apologize. Again, we had the women's powerlifting team, the Porter Cowboys, the men. They will be playing tomorrow, March 29th, in Corpus Christi at kind of Cabanis Field. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. At 8 p.m. So if all the Porter Nation, I'm sure, will be traveling to the Corpus area to root for our Cowboys. Wishing them much success against Victoria East tomorrow. Again, the game is tomorrow, Monday, March 29th at 8 p.m. at Cabanis Field in Corpus Christi at 8 p.m. So we should be expecting all of our Porter Nation, Porter Cowboys, La Pora to go out and support our men's soccer team. We also have our Veterans Memorial Chargers will be playing on the 30th, Tuesday, March the 30th, against Flower Bluff at the Los Fresnos Stadium. So I encourage each and every one of our listeners to do as much as possible to go out and support our soccer team, both the Porter Cowboys and Veterans Memorial. They got very important games, one on Monday with the Porter Cowboys in Corpus, and Tuesday at the Los Fresnos Stadium. So we'll be monitoring that game. Real Sports Live does a very good job of streaming the games. And I will go ahead and share that link. That way our community could follow with our teams, and hopefully they get the victory on the respective days. Golf, again, we've had a lot of action this past couple weeks going on. Want to spend a special congratulations to the Porter Cowboys ladies golf team. They placed first place at the Mercedes Invitational Tournament and second place at the RGV GCA Invitational Tournament. Special shouts out to Adriana Anderson, Danny Longoria, Yesenia Medellin, and Eris Hinojosa. I'm sorry if I mispronounced those names. Ladies, congratulations for placing first at Mercedes and second at another local tournament. Great accomplishment to our Porter lady cowgirls on this great accomplishment of theirs. Congratulations, ladies. Track. We've had a lot of competitors for track. So special shouts out to the superstar, as she's known, Nadalyn Sosa, who placed first place in the 800-meter race at Sam Stadium. Congratulations, Miss Sosa. It's impressive for you to be known as the Porter Lady Cowgirl superstar. I can just imagine how fast you are for your peers to give you that recognition. So congratulations, Ms. Sosa. It's a great way to put Porter Lady Cowboys on the map, and yourself, young lady. So congratulations on that. And again, not only do we do sports, we're also very proud of our student athletes that are in extracurricular activities besides sports. We will do our best to try and bring this to the public. That way we can recognize, encourage, motivate our students, our student athletes to participate in as many extracurricular activities as possible, whether that be sports, competing in mathematics. We're going to show some poetry right now, as much as possible. That way they can develop those talents that they have and demonstrate it to the city of Brownsville and to the world. So we want to congratulate our Lopez Lobos They placed second place overall at the American Mathematic Competition, the AMC, and they were student athletes. Swimmer Sofia Gomez, she placed first place. Uh, Danny Martinez placed second, and Viance Duran placed third. They're excelling in school, swimming, and mathematics. So, congratulations to these young ladies. It's always great and important for you to participate in as many activities as possible. So, congratulations to the mathematics team at the Lopez Lobos. Lopez Lobos again, the lady Lopez Lobos softball team, they won against the Porter Cowgirls a couple days ago, 15-8. So congratulations to the ladies softball girls for their victory a couple days ago. And again, it's always important for us to showcase our local talent as much as possible. Not only do we want to focus on sports, but we also want to bring attention to the great talent that we have here locally. And not only do we focus on sports, but whenever we see our student athletes receiving some sort of award, recognition, we want our community to be informed about this as much as possible. And poetry, the UIL Veteran Memorial Poetry Team advanced to regionals. Joel Santibáñez placed first, Angeles Ayala placed second, and Drake McElia placed fifth place. So congratulations to the Veterans Poetry Team for advancing to regionals. Again, it's always important for us as a community to recognize our student athletes as much as possible. And it's a great accomplishment for these individuals to participate and travel. That's one of the main things that we always encourage our student athletes to travel and compete and see what is out there. It is great for us personally. That way we know on how hard we need to work in order for us to be able to obtain any goals that we have. So not only is competition in sports, it could be done in mathematics, how we just saw with the Lopez Lobos mathematics team, but also in poetry. What better way to to learn from other poets, other people who are linguistically more experienced, more talented than us. So what a great experience this is going to be for the Veterans Memorial Poetry Team to travel to regionals, compete, hopefully place, but more than anything for the experience that they will obtain at that next level. So congratulations to the Veterans Memorial Poetry Team. Wish you the best. Hopefully, you will move on further. So make sure that you keep us posted on that. Now we will go to the collegiate level. Miss Lucio, redshirt sophomore and Brownsville Veterans Memorial alumni Julie Lucio held on to win the UTRGV Invitational for her first career win, leading the UTRGV Vaqueros this past week. Miss Lucio at Veterans Memorial was an amazing golfer. She continues to show her talent locally here at UTRGV. Being a Veterans alumni, we wish Miss Lucio the best. What a great accomplishment for her as a collegiate player. Maybe this could lead to the amateur pro level, the LGPA. We never know. So we wish Miss Lucio the best. We hope to get any updates from her competing, traveling. That way we can do our best as a community to follow and promote Miss Lucio's accomplishments as much as possible. Good morning, Mr. Frankie. Big shouts out to you and from Ramirez Martial Arts to Pete, Mr. Coach Pete, and Eva Ramirez of Ramirez Martial Arts Center for bringing a seminar from the World Championship team, Paul Mitchell, and from one of the actual actors from Cobra Kai's Netflix member to Brownsville yesterday. Congrats to Eva and Alex, her son. Wow. I did see that. I did see that they did bring the Cobra Kai martial artist. What a great way for our our young men and women to learn from them personally. Uh, so special shouts out to Ramirez Martial Arts Academy on on bringing down somebody with experience, with great talent to try and motivate and instill those great talents and attributes to our local our local students. Congratulations to all four Destination Imagination teams from Stillman who qualified and competed at the state Destination Imagination team. They are competing at state with a chance to qualify for the Global Destination Imagination Tournament in Kansas City in July. Wow, that's awesome. I wasn't aware of that, Louis, of the Destination Imagination. Keep me up to date. I will do my best and following. I the way I prepare, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leading up to Sunday is I try and reach as many teams as possible. It's kind of difficult being that BISD Brownsville has 50 plus schools. I do my best to try and see what's out there. It is kind of hard because we do have some schools that are more active on their social media than others. So it is hard for me to follow everything that is out there. But I do encourage, and I do thank Dr. Eder Hernandez for bringing that attention to Juan Blaze Tapia's upcoming fight. That way we can closely monitor that those proceedings to try and get more information to our community. Thank you again to Emilio on bringing the attention for our Ramirez karate martial arts team. They're doing a great job. I personally have attended a tournament of theirs, a virtual tournament that they had back in September, if I'm not mistaken. And thank you, Louis, for bringing this to my attention. I encourage our community to do everything possible to send me messages, send me pictures. That way I can keep up to date. It is kind of hard following 50 plus schools. But again, I do my very best to try and showcase the local talent as much as possible. I do follow most of the high schools, some of the middle schools that are out there. But again, it is difficult following everything as much as possible. But I encourage the community to send me messages, send me pictures, send me dates. That way I can closely monitor them and then have them on this production. I think it would be a great way for our community to be involved in doing our very best to promote. We all have different roles, and I surely encourage as much help as possible. So thank you to Dr. Eder Hernandez, thank you to Emilio, thank you to Mr. Louis Leal in providing this information that we all need. Good morning, Coach Martinez. Happy belated, sir. I hope you're having fun in San Antonio, and I expect wish I was in San Antonio shirt soon. Good morning, Frankie. Good morning, Zuri. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. LaMarcus Aldridge to the Nets. Yes, sir. We will be discussing that momentarily. Thank you for tuning in, Gabriel. Love you, man. Congratulations to all our athletes who competed at state this weekend in powerlifting. Yes, congratulations. We do have a state champion from Lopez Lobos. She placed first place in powerlifting. So congratulations to Ms. Salazar regarding her great accomplishment. Again, as I previously mentioned, there's a lot that has been going on in the world of sports locally. We've had UIL, poetry. We've had we've had powerlifting, softball, soccer. We got some soccer games coming up locally. Now we will be talking about what's transpiring in the world of sports. Let me bring it up. I do apologize. March Madness. Last week we had Our four matches of the Sweet 16, we saw Oregon State defeat Loyola Chicago 65-58. Oregon State has so far been the only Cinderella team that has advanced so far. I think they were ranked 15th, if I'm not mistaken, ranked 12th. I'm sorry, in their brackets, and they have seemed to go against all odds. So they will be advancing to the Elite Eight after their victory last night against Loyola Chicago. And Loyola Chicago was favored to win by double-digit scores, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been 8 points. So Oregon State did dominate the whole entire game. It's been very impressive to follow Oregon State. We'll see how far they go. If they win one more game, they're in close reach of making it to the championship. So Oregon State did pull off that victory. Also, we had Baylor. Baylor was down by 8 points at the half against Villanova yesterday. The second half, it was a totally different game. They ended up winning by 11 points to advance to the Elite Eight. So congratulations to Baylor. Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts was also a Cinderella team. We saw how they previously beat the Florida Gators this past in an exciting game to make it to the Sweet 16 against Arkansas. We saw how Arkansas barely pulled off the victory yesterday against Oral Roberts. I was rooting for Oral Roberts. They were favored to lose also by double digits. I think it was 10 to 12 points. They kept it close, but ultimately they couldn't pull off the victory. Syracuse and Houston pulled up and got the win against Syracuse. I thought that it was going to be a lot closer game. The experts were saying that Houston was going to win by 6 points. So congratulations to the Houston Cougars. They will be advancing to the Elite Eight. There will be some games today that we will be monitoring as well to see how the Elite Eight bracket will be looking like. Ramos has Go Zags. Gonzaga will be playing today, Ramos, against Creighton at 1 shortly after the end of this broadcast. And get this, Gonzaga is favored to win by 14 points. So double digits points. We do have Gonzaga, the number one team in the country, number one team in their bracket, in their seed, out of the West. We have seen throughout the year how they have dominated the majority of their games. But to see a high point spread this late in the Sweet 16, I would, if I was a betting man, I would put my money on Creighton. I hope to see it a close competitive game. But Gonzaga is favored to win by 14 points. Michigan, Florida State. Michigan's favored to win by 2.5. That would be the game after the Gonzaga Creighton game. Florida State has been playing very good as of late. They are a shaky team. They do have Barnes. They do have several other players that are NFL prospects. I would like to have Florida State advance. Michigan has been very, very strong. They recently had an injury to one of their three-point shooters, who that makes the bench, have much more minutes. But I like Florida State in this. I'll take the points at 2.5. We also have Alabama and UCLA. Tonight, Alabama's favored to win. UCLA beat an Abilene Christian University team that looked weak, and that's horrible because this Abilene Christian University team, they're the ones that beat UT, and UCLA dominated them. So we'll see how they play against the number 2 team out of the East, Alabama. That game is set for 6:15. And tonight's game, this is going to be an interesting game. Oregon against USC. We just saw how Oregon defeated Iowa. They romped on them. This is going to be the last game tonight. We will see who comes out of the West to go and advance to the Elite Eight. USC is favored to win by 3 points. I'm rooting for Oregon in this game. We'll see how that goes. But I'll be monitoring this game closely. I'll be rooting for Oregon this game. I think they have what it takes. USC has been a shaky team. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't. The twin brothers, the Mobley brothers. Hopefully they come out and play tonight. They are. One of the brothers is NBA prospect. We'll see if how their season goes after today's game. They might be announcing to the NBA at the conclusion of the NCAA tournament, but we'll see. Again, one of the big stories that we had coming up a couple of days ago was LaMarcus Aldridge. Yesterday, in fact, we had heard how LaMarcus Aldridge and the Spurs they had some tension. LaMarcus Aldridge being 35 years of age, he spent his majority of his career with the Portland Trailblazers, 9 years. I think he was with the Spurs 5 or 6 years, and I think he's ready to win that ring. The reasons why he went to the Spurs was because he thought that they were one of the best teams to be in contention to win it all. But now we see him, and he recently signed with the Brooklyn, with the Brooklyn Nets. And again, we have a stacked team for the Nets. The potential starting lineup could be Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge. We will probably see how Jordan may be going to a backup role with the Nets. That LaMarcus Aldridge is more versatile. He's a better shooter. I don't think he's as good as defending, but you need as much offense on the court as possible. The Nets getting everybody just to beat a 36-year-old. Well, the Lakers have been struggling. We have seen how their offense has looked depleted lately without the services of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They just beat the Cavaliers yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, but they were on a 4-game skid. And we just see how, recently, because of the trade deadline, teams are trying to make moves. But we just see how the rich keep on getting richer. Again, the Brooklyn Nets are stacked. They are getting Drummond. Andre Drummond did reach a buyout with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and one of his potential suitors were the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, how's that's going to work? We've seen how Gasol has been injury prone. Montrezl Harrell, I believe, is a better backup center to provide that spark from the bench. So I do anticipate, everybody anticipates Andre Drummond signing with the Cavaliers on a league minimum veteran deal to try and get a ring. He'll be able to sign with whoever after the season's over, but we'll see how they do in that. Again, we have several moves in the NBA. The Raptors traded Norman Powell to the Trailblazers for Gary Trent Jr. and Rodney Hood. I kind of scratched my head on this one. Gary Trent Jr. was a good shooter. Rodney Hood, I think he's past his prime. He's one of those that just picks up minutes at the end of the game. Norman Powell is an amazing shooter, good defense. He's still young. So I could see why the Blazers did everything to acquire their services, but Gary Trent Jr. was promising. He's younger than Norman Powell. But again, we'll see how this goes. We'll be following this trade to see who got the better end of the deal. Lakers in 5 against the Nets. Now, I would dare say Nets in 5, if anything. Maybe in 6, but I'll say Nets in 6. We also saw Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was or has been frustrated with the Orlando Magics, the team that drafted him, and he recently reached out to the team and said, "Hey, I will be requesting the trade." And we saw how the Magics and the Denver Nuggets worked out a deal, sending Aaron Gordon to the Denver Nuggets for Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and a first-round pick. Gary Harris is a good player. I think he's past his prime already. Aaron Gordon, besides his slam dunk contest, he's an okay player. Doesn't average many, probably average double digits. He's still very young. I think he's 24, 25 years old. So we'll see again who got the better end of the deal on this trade. We'll be monitoring that as well. Again, it always comes down bet. Nets in 5 or 6. Ramos, how about that? The Dolphins. The Dolphins have a lot to be thankful for. And ironically, the Houston Texans come into play in this whole trade situation. If y'all remember, this individual was traded to Tacos on the Line. I'm down for tacos. I recently went to Tingy Tacos. They're good. I used to like Calacas. Calacas Tacos is good. I like Ultimo. But lately, I got into the whole Tingy craze, and it's awesome. Whoever hasn't eaten there, I encourage you to do so. It's the restaurant. Oh, what is it? It's by Old Port Isabel Road. I forgot the old restaurant that used to be there. I'll think about it later. It's an old Port Isabel called Tingy. Tacos on the Line. I'm down, Ramos. Tacos will be on the line for the Nets and Lakers game. Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil was traded to the Houston Texans for, I think, 1 or 2 picks. Well, this pick for the Dolphins has given them 4 first-round picks. We recently saw how the San Francisco 49ers jumped to the 3rd spot. They will be drafting number 3. They traded with the Miami Dolphins for the 12th overall pick. They just swapped picks. The Dolphins did acquire a lot of trade ammunition in this trade. We saw shortly also how the Dolphins, after trading at their 3rd pick to drop to the 12th pick, they traded with the Eagles, who were sitting at pick 6. They traded with the Eagles. They swapped picks, and they gave one of their first-round draft picks. So, again, the 49ers are wheeling and dealing. We saw how their intentions could be to get a potential quarterback in this draft. Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting quarterback. We have seen how he's been injury prone. So for them to jump from 12 to 3 could only lead us to believe that they will be targeting a quarterback. Many people have talked about Mac Jones, Lawrence from North Dakota State, Zach Wilson, if he were to fall, if the Jets don't pick him. Probably even Trey Fields from Ohio State. So again, we'll be following this to see who the San Francisco 49ers elect to pick. Again, from jumping from 12 to 3, this only leads us to believe that they will be targeting a quarterback in this draft. Who will that be? Only time will tell. The draft is a month away. I love the draft personally. I love following it. I will probably get into those mock drafts sooner or later. I know somebody who does it every single year, and they watch the draft to see how close they were. It is kind of hard to follow. First 3 picks are going to QBs. I agree with you. Number 1, we can hands down say is Trevor Lawrence from the Clemson Tigers. He will be the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The New York Jets, they are considered to take a quarterback as well. Again, whenever you have a new GM, a new coach, they want to have their own people. They want their quarterback because at the end of the day, we know how it's very competitive at the NFL. These GMs, these coaches, they only get 3, 4, 5 years at the most. If they haven't installed their program in 3 years, if they're not winning in 3 years, they're gone. So what better way to install your program, your offense with your own people? So we anticipate the Jets drafting Zach Wilson from BYU. He is a great, great quarterback. A he did have a pro day not too long ago. I think it was a couple of days ago, and he was just dropping dimes. Um, he looks like a pro, like your prototypical um, quarterback, but we'll see. So you are correct, Ramos. We do anticipate the first three picks being quarterbacks. And again, we just discussed how Zach Wilson did have a pro day a couple days ago, and he looked good. He looked very good. Being that he's from BYU, he had a great season this year. This past two seasons. I'm sorry, he has put up close to 70 touchdowns. So here they're comparing a play that he ran at the pro day to an NFL quarterback, and how similar their throws are. Again, can a BYU quarterback step in and lead a franchise? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But again, Ramos is correct. We do anticipate three quarterbacks being drafted: 1, 2, 3. Lawrence going to the Jaguars, Wilson going to the Jets. Now the question, Ramos, 2 is going to be Zach Williams with the Jets, and 3 pick is either Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Who is that going to be? I'm not sure. I've heard since Shanahan has a pro style offense that he's leaning towards Trey Lance or Mac Jones from Alabama. I personally think that they will be selecting Justin Fields from Ohio State. He seems more versatile. He has played in bigger games. Has he showed up in bigger games is still the question. So we'll see how the San Francisco 49ers approach this. Again, we do anticipate quarterbacks first, second, and third in this year's draft, possibly even 4, because we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, who with Matt Ryan not producing, not being able to win the division that was previously held by the Saints. So Ramos, I would even argue that the first 4 picks could possibly be quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks that you named could either go 3 or 4. So again, it's going to be a very interesting draft, and this is going to be one of those drafts like, remember how we were with Eli Manning, with Ben Roethlisberger, with Rivers, 3 great quarterbacks, and they ended up going different ways. We could even argue that this happened with Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, how Leaf went 1, Peyton went 2. How different their NFL careers turned out to be. So this year's draft is going to be no different. We will be seeing great quarterbacks go to these struggling teams, and it's going to be great to see how well they do throughout the course of their careers. Ramos, one thing I do want to bring up is just because a team moves up for quarterbacks doesn't necessarily mean that they are the best choice. We have seen time and time again how these GMs have made horrible decisions. So just because the 49ers are moving up from 12 to 3 doesn't mean that they're getting the next Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes. We saw throughout the years how the Jets moved up to the 3rd overall spot to get Sam Darnold. The worst pass up, in my opinion, was when the Bears in 2017, they passed up both Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. I guess Deshaun Watson now, with all the latest controversy that he brought upon himself, maybe it was the safe bet. That's still yet to be dealt with. But we saw the Bears, how they passed up Patrick Mahomes and they went with Mitchell Trubisky. We have seen how recently Mitchell Trubisky just signed a 1-year deal to back up Jared Allen with the Buffalo Bills. We saw in 2016 how Jared Goff um, was selected by the Rams. Carson Wentz was selected by the Eagles. And Robert Griffin, even though he looked promising in his rookie year, that was the only year because in that year, the playoffs in 2012, he tore his MCL, ACL, if I'm not mistaken. So just because teams move up to select a quarterback, we have seen throughout history that they don't really turn out to be superstars in how they expect. So what can we see or what can we predict for the San Francisco 49ers? Will they be able to erase this history? Will they be able to find that diamond in the rough and say, hey, we made the right choice in jumping 9 spots to number 3 to select our quarterback for the future? Again, we don't know who they're going to select. We don't see the tackle from Oregon. They recently signed an offensive lineman. The 49ers recently signed an offensive lineman to a record deal. So we anticipate them to get a quarterback. Now, how good can Shanahan mold this quarterback? We'll wait and see. We have seen great things from Jimmy Garoppolo. He took the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl. They were one quarter away from winning it all. We kind of saw the blunder. But then again, it is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs at that time who took over and won late in the game to beat the San Francisco 49ers for their first championship in 40, 50 years. So again, I wanted to show this because just because teams jump to select a quarterback, we have seen how Sam Darnold, he's already on their way out with the New York Jets. We do anticipate Zach Wilson to be selected too from BYU. Mitchell Trubisky is no longer with the Bears. We recently said how he signed with the as a backup to the Buffalo Bills. Jared Goff was recently traded to the Detroit Lions for Matthew Stafford. Carson Wentz was just dealt to Indianapolis. And Robert Griffin, he was last year with the Ravens, but they waived him. They waived him this year. So these quarterbacks that were previously signed are no longer with the team. And the most latest one, or the most in 2016, the most farthest one was Carson Wentz, who 5 years to drafting and he had an MVP year the year he got hurt. The year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Dolphins will be the best of the East again. They're like I showed. They got the draft picks, Figueroa. They got the draft picks needed to establish a mini dynasty. We have seen how that Laramie Tunsil trade to the Houston Texans have given them 4 future first-round picks. In 2011, they're going to be selecting 6, 18 in the first round. They got the 36th and the 50th pick in the second round, and the third and the 81st pick. So these are solid quality collegiate players that they can add to their team, who was already a great team. They were fighting the very last game for the East, if I'm not mistaken. So Gilbert, you're right. We will be seeing the Dolphins in the future compete for the AFC East title. We have seen how the Patriots have been signing people like crazy. Saludos, man. Thank you for following. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. We have seen how the Patriots have been signing like crazy. But we'll be monitoring the Dolphin situation as well. Again, we saw yesterday the UFC heavyweight title. It was a great matchup. Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic. It was a great fight. It was a rematch. Francis lost the last fight. Um, Francis was the favorite, and I was like, how can the champion, how can the champion be an underdog? But it was a great fight for anybody who caught it last night. I watched it. It was late at night. I was shocked. I was shocked to see uh, the champ lose. I'm going to show you very quickly. Again, it was a great fight. I did anticipate the champ to be a little bit more competitive. It didn't come out that way. We saw in the second round, the start of the second round, he just caught a left, and after that left, he was wobbly, he was shaky, and the ref, as soon as Francis caught him on the chin, the ref called it. So it was a great fight. I personally love to see heavyweights, the big boys, throw hands. So congratulations to Francis. If I'm not mistaken, he is the first African-born UFC champion, whether that's heavyweight, bantam. He is the first champion from Africa. So congratulations to him. He was very, as we could all imagine, he was very ecstatic after winning the belt. He has been fighting for not that long. He's not one of those that was trained for many years. So it was an interesting fight. That led to many ask, what's next? Who's going to be the next potential big name fight? And again, like UFC, like boxing, like UFC. What I like about UFC actually is that they always put the best against the best. I have always said that Canelo, Ryan Garcia, even Mayweather, throughout their careers, they just put like people who weren't as competitive. And I know boxing, you want to build up the boxer. You want to get them as much publicity, as much money. You want to get their winning streaks high to try and promote that big fight. But what I like about UFC is that as soon as Francis won, he was already calling out a big name, and that big name is none other than John Jones. John Jones has had substance abuse problems, alcohol, cocaine. He's had issues. They stripped him of his belt because of that, if I'm not mistaken. He has been in the process of training, of trying to get back into the boxing world. And as soon as Francis won, they said, "Hey, what about John Jones?" He's like, "Hey, if the money's right," and again, the money's always right. So we should anticipate the next fight, the next heavyweight fight, to have John Jones against Francis after Francis won the championship. And shortly after, I think during the fight, John Jones was texting, "Hey, show me the money." Conor McGregor was able to get a lot of money from UFC, and I'm sure a lot of people will pay to watch John Jones come back and try to claim his title. I think that's going to be a great fight, John Jones against Francis. Hopefully, we'll see that very soon. Thank you for tuning in, guys. It was a great show. Again, I encourage each and every one of you to send me messages. Send me pictures, send me events, tournaments, whatever possible. It could even be Little League. I want to use this channel to promote Brownsville student athletes and any of our students that are participating in extracurricular activities, whether that be chess, poetry, Destinations Imagination. That's a great program that we are always competitive in. So if you have any information, again, it is kind of hard for me to follow all those schools. There is a lot that has been transpiring, and even though I didn't get everything that went on, I tried my best to promote those things that we could attend, that we can encourage, that we can be proud of our students, our student athletes, and those students that participate in extracurricular activities. Thank you once again, guys. See you next week. Happy Sunday. Have a great day. See you soon.